Welcome to Bad Dice, the UK's first Warhammer Fantasy Battle podcast. We bring you news, reviews and updates from all around the UK tournament scene. Your hosts are Ben Curry and Ben Johnson. We hope you enjoy the show, and if you do, be sure to let us know. You can contact us on thebens@baddice.co.uk or leave a positive review on iTunes. Hello and welcome to episode 39 of the Bad Dice podcast. I'm your host, Ben Curry.
And I'm Ben Johnson.
And in this episode, since we had such a successful last episode, we're going to talk more on 8th edition. So what we're going to talk about, Ben?
We're going to cover more in depth the 8th edition terrain rules and what that implies to the game, and our thoughts on designing 8th edition army lists.
Yeah, not too in depth, and there'll be no gems of wisdom from us.
We ain't got any.
We will be talking about the way we've been approaching writing a new list for the new edition. But before we get into that, we've got some sponsors to give a shout out to, and we're going to start with Odd Games. So Odd Games are an online store. It's oddgames.co.uk. They sell all things war games related, and they do have a particular special offer which might be of interest to a lot of people at the moment. So what's that, Ben?
It's the new 8th edition Warhammer rulebook in all its glory, posted and delivered to your house for £39.
Yeah, which I think is pretty damn cheap.
It's not bad, is it? What's that, £6 off retail?
Yeah, I think it's more than that, actually. But yeah, it's 39 quid.
Posted.
But if you want to pick it up, there's options on the store. You can collect it from any Clapham War Games Club night, any Odd Games Club night, and from the Tides of Chaos event in Reading. I think that's, 2-3 weeks away? Might even be sooner than that, actually.
Yeah.
But go on the Odd Games store, just click on the rule book.
They're going to be lugging around some weight, aren't they?
Yeah, but he's getting in there, he's selling it, and it is also cheaper on the net. The big web stores we all know off the web, Maelstrom Games, Wayland Games, Odd Games are cheaper than both of them. So, yeah, check them out for your cheapest Warhammer rulebook I've been able to find on the net. If there's anywhere cheaper, good luck to you finding it, because I've really not been able to see one. So, yeah, that's oddgames.co.uk. They've got a competition running at the moment as well, which we'll cover at the end of the show with a few other competitions. One other thing I saw about Odd Games when I was on their website earlier, they've got a live help function. So if you go on the website and you see the live help section is lit up with them online, you can chat to the people who run the store and they can talk you through your order online while you're doing your order if you're having problems.
Do you need, is it like MSN?
Yeah, sort of. You click on it and it opens a chat window.
Okay.
One of the other things I noticed that they do is if you're on the site and you see something that they don't stock, there's also a button you can click which requests it.
Okay.
You just type in what you want. So, yeah, pretty good. Check them out. They do all sorts of stuff at some great prices. So, yeah, that's oddgames.co.uk. Our other sponsors are?
Rankings HQ.
Yep, them boys run the UK rankings, so we'll give a shout-out to them. Now, we was off at a tournament this weekend with Mr. Galea, wasn't we, from Rankings HQ?
We also had very nice, shiny Rankings HQ shirts.
Yeah, so they're sponsoring the ETC England shirts, and I think they're also sponsoring any team who are going to the ETC and also a ranking. So if you've got rankings on there, just get in touch with them about it. They'll be keen to do that. They're also the
swanky T-shirts.
Main sponsor of the ETC. And last but certainly not least, Unseen Lurker magazine. They're our third sponsor. They do a bi-monthly magazine, is it?
Yep.
And it's just about all general gaming, but mainly Warhammer. They've got a War Machine article coming up in the next issue. We just covered the latest issue a month or so ago. No, an episode ago, wasn't it?
It was the one before the 8th edition one, wasn't it?
We cover the episodes every time the magazine comes in. So, yeah, check them out. That's unseenlurker.com, and it's Lurker with an E. Now, you can buy T-shirts and dice off the website as well. So, yeah, check them out. One other thing about them, they just ran a tournament the weekend called Enemy at the Gates, and it was at the same venue as the Tempest Rising event.
The Marple Marauders venue.
Yeah, so Singe Frost took overall overall champion, and they used
by coming fourth.
Yeah, they used some sort of best in race, best in show calculating your relative position to the rest of your race to do that.
Did you also notice that the guy who came fifth also had Beastman?
Did he really?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
so
was using
Singe
the
and
ETC
some other
rules
guy.
pack. And there was an ogre player up there as well. John Broom was best general with ogres. These are the 2,600 point armies, which I was quite impressed by. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good to see a change of army at the top. And the ETC armies, while there is some filth there, you can also get some really big lists out of the Band C.
Yeah.
One other thing about the Unseen Lurker. So they're at Warhammer World this weekend recording a battle report with... well, I'm not going to say who it is, because I think they might want to keep that quiet for a future issue. But they'll be at Warhammer World taking notes on the latest battle report for the next issue. So if you're in the area, pop in. I'm not sure if it's Saturday or Sunday, but if you get on the Unseen Lurker forums, I'm sure you can ask someone and they'll let you know. So yeah, that's just a little gem for you.
Oh, very nice.
I know they've got the next battle report planned already, and it's going to be some local guys that we know.
Is that for issue 4?
Issue 4, yeah.
Oh, I know who that is.
You know?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Good stuff. So there's our sponsors. We're going to go straight into the news, and we're going to... Funnily enough, we're going to talk about Odd Games some more, because Warhammer 8th is here, pretty much, and they're releasing a whole range of just swanky new toys, aren't they, to go with it?
Yes, lots and lots of toys.
Now, have you seen any of these?
The only thing I've seen other than the rulebook is the Battle Magic cards. I saw them at the weekend at Firestorm. Got to be honest, very impressed.
Yeah, well, I've seen the Battle Magic cards. Go run down what they are. What are the Battle Magic cards?
I think there's 56 of them, if I remember rightly. Basically, it's just a card with each individual spell on for each law. They've got the spell, the range, all that jazz. They've also got at the bottom the special attributes for that law, apart from a few of them because the spells are massive and they can't fit it on. And it's just a very nice thing to have, because obviously now you can't duplicate spells other than your signatures, which are pretty simple anyway. So it's nice. It's like it used to be in 5th, where you used to have your cards on the table behind your wizard, effectively. So you didn't have to write it down. And it's just, they do look really cool as well.
Now, people were printing these off 7th edition all the time. You'd often see someone using them at a tournament. And I think they're great. I think they're a really good idea. So
it kind of surprises me that they were, I believe they were on the Games Workshop website, weren't they, to print them off and stick them on card.
Yeah, they were.
That they never released them.
Well, yeah. It just
baffles me, that.
Yeah, it's
and
just
again,
free money, isn't it?
For £6.
Yeah.
Bargain. I mean, I'll be honest with you as well. They're doing a Beastman set, which I've just ordered today.
Yeah, which is also £6.
No, £3.
£3, really?
£3.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Don't get me wrong, there's only the 6 spells, but...
Well, that's direct order only, isn't it? You can only get that off the GW site, I think.
I'm not sure. I know they're limited.
And they're limited. I think they're also nearly sold out.
Yeah, that's why I ordered some. I figured for £3, I know it sounds ridiculous, but if I ever do a Beastman army, I quite fancy a deck of cards. So
yeah, of course.
Bought them.
So the Battle Magic cards on Odd Games are £5.10, so you get 90 pence.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a lot, but it all adds
Adds
up.
up.
They do free postage. Now, I know Games Workshop are doing free postage at the moment, but I don't know if it's on all orders or orders over a certain value. But Odd Games do it on anything over a £5. So if you just want a set of Battle Magic cards, you can get them from Odd Games for £5.10 posted to your door.
I think GW is a tenner.
Really? Okay. Well, next up, they've got a template set. So it's the Flame, and it's a large blast with a small blast inside it. And these are the metal lookalike sort of sun designs, aren't they? What did you think?
They look nice. I've only seen the pictures on the website, but they did strike me as being possibly a little flimsy.
Yeah, well, I've had a good look at them, and they're no more flimsy than the current plastic ones.
What, a solid piece of plastic?
Well, you know what I mean. I don't think you shouldn't break them unless you're jumping up and down on them. But then again, you could probably jump up and down on the current ones and they wouldn't break at all. The thing I didn't like about them, they seemed really cheap. And to be fair, they are cheap. They're $4.25 for the 2 templates. Yeah. And they're really nice. They're really, really nice design. But I don't know, they're gold-coloured plastic with an ink wash on them. And they come already with a wash. And the washes are a bit ropey. And it's...
How do you think... Did you use them? How do you think it's going to work trying to use the small blast template that's incorporated into the large one?
I think it's not too bad because the small blast and the large blast aren't the problem because you sort of know how many models you can cover with a certain size of blast. The problem will be your Flame template because it's the angle it's going in at. It's
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's all that sort of stuff. But even then, it's not too bad. You just get on with it, don't you? There's a clear, defined line of where the template starts and the jazzy stuff around the edges finishes.
Okay. One thing I did notice from the couple of games as 8th I have played is templates. A lot of the spells now, the Vortex spells, use a template that
Which
stays on the
remains in
board.
play, yeah. So you might need a few templates.
So you might need a couple of them.
Yeah.
And I don't think the fancy new ones are really suitable for that.
No, probably not. I mean, they did something 40k, didn't they? Like a Vortex Grenade 3D template.
There was like a dome.
A dome, yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, so the template sets are £5 or $4.25 off the OG site. Engineer's ranging set. So you get a fold-out ruler like what you had when your granddad had when he was at work 1,000 years ago with his fold-out hinged ruler.
It's like a carpenter's ruler.
Yeah. Quite like it. I've had a play with it, and I liked it a lot, but it's a pain in the arse. You can't use it during the game.
It's no tape measure, is it?
No. Now, the other thing they've got is set compasses with a measuring device on it. So when you pull them apart, it shows you on the centre of the compass, shows you how far the 2 points are at the end, and it's very accurate. First thing I did, got my tape measure out and started pulling about at it and getting the distances. And because of the way it works now with your charge distances, you're either within or over. You know what I mean? So if it's dead lined up on 18, you're in 18. If it's a mil over 18, then you're not within 18. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like that. I don't think it was used. You may as well just tape measure it, but it did seem very accurate, like really, really accurate.
I've seen the video of it being used on the GW website, and it seems very, very big.
Yeah, it is big. I imagine once it's chucked it just in a geek bag with all your rest of your books, notes, pens, dice, tape measures, it's going to get smashed.
It's going to die, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But other than that, I think it's okay. What else we got? So that's £18 and 15.30 off OG Games. Now, they also do a counter set. Have you seen this?
Yeah. Again, not convinced on it, to be honest. You seem to be paying quite a lot of money for that combat calculator, which seems quite
you'd never use
complicated.
It's got a lot of pins in it. However, the tokens with the fleeing and the charging symbols on either side are really nice. But again, it's £8 for
I had
a couple of tokens.
I had a set of was it GF9 that did them? And to be honest with you,
Never used them.
you don't really use them.
Just use
And
dice.
also as well, with the way it works now, where you declare a charge, you work out your flee, you stand and shoot, then you move on, and then you can move them in any order. You don't need to charge 1, charge 2, charge 3.
No, but you do need to know which units have charged and which haven't.
I suppose, yeah.
Going
but
back to them. You shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't need.
it's not as important as I think it was.
No, but they are nice tokens.
Yeah, I quite like the wound ones. I think they'd be quite cool for just objectives and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So them ones were £8 or £6.80 off the OG Games site. Now you can get them all for $31.45 delivered to your door from OG Games, which is a hell of a lot of money just for template set. But I know a lot of people will like them, and again, this is pretty cheap. So obviously, Ollie must be loving us at the minute because we plug for OG Games. So talking of more Games Workshop swag, along with all the tackle they've released, there's also they've released a range of miniatures. Have you seen these?
Yes.
What did you think to them?
Contrary to what Podhammer say, I love them.
Yeah, what did Podhammer say?
What was the point?
No, I can't. I don't see that. I think you've got. It's just brilliant to have random odd figures here and there, which you might never use, but they're just a joy to paint.
Yeah.
So I mean, all these, for anyone who's not seen them, you can find them on the Bad Dice website. So it's baddice.co.uk, and just search for recent articles. It's titled GW Publish Advanced Order Photos, and it's got pictures of all the stuff we've just talked about, the template sets, and we've also got the photos of the miniatures. So what we've got?
To start with, there's a pair of duelists. One who's kissing his sword, like he's just about, kind of praying for his opponent not to cut his head off. And the other guy has got this brace pistols, which I think he looks very feminine, I've got to be honest.
And he does look like he's got big, massive las pistols.
Yeah, he does
off
a bit.
Imperial Garden.
But again, this is Warhammer. The other two are two scribes, which I really like.
Was it not a scribe and
Scribe and
a merchant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think the thin one with the book is really cool.
Yeah, it looks dead sinister as well. It's got
Yeah.
a really, really good-looking face on him.
Yeah. And the third is like a mascot, a regimental mascot, which is basically a dude with a little, what looks like a tiny little wind-up violin that plays music, pulling along a bear with a drum.
Yeah, a bear with a drum with a chain around its neck, so it's a dancing bear. I really like that. Again, it's nice little figures. They're going to be limited edition, so get them while they're hot.
Are they limited, or are they just direct?
I'm not sure
got the
that it said
direct
that.
symbol
Oh,
by
yeah,
them, not
okay.
the
I'll give you
limited
that.
symbol.
It says direct, it doesn't say limited. So, yeah, you might be able to get them whenever. Yeah, I like them. I like
I
them a
do as
lot.
well.
I'm not sure how much they are. I didn't take notes on that,
I think they're
unfortunately.
£8.
I can check. So, yeah, it's. I wish they'd do more stuff like this, to be fair. It's something that...
I was just going to say that.
yeah, it's something that you don't see enough of. Yeah, $8.50 each they are. The bear's $10.50. And you get... Yeah, it's... I don't know. A lot of money just for a little man to stand at the side of a unit and not do it, but I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh, you wouldn't... The bear dude would look great in a unit swordsman,
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
wouldn't it?
Probably right. Also, the characters, now that the new setup for characters have changed,
Yeah.
you have lots of cheap heroes in units, just
yeah.
give them leadership boosts. They make lovely cheap heroes.
They would, actually.
Anything else we've got on? We've already covered
Dice.
the dice, yes. So you've ordered like 12,000 sets of these, haven't you?
I've not. I've got a thing for dice. I like dice. These did look really cool. So I bought 3 bags of them.
I played with them. Well, I didn't play with them. I had to play with them, and I didn't like them. I thought they were too flimsy. They really felt really plasticky, not much weight to them, and I didn't really like them.
That's a shame.
Yeah, well, you'll have to eBay the sets you get when you get them.
Yeah.
Open one, stick them in your picture frame, and
Yeah. No, we'll see. We'll see what they're like.
okay.
Well,
So
notice this as well. The collector's edition book's gone.
sold out. Apparently, in America, because they split where they were sending them, they had 3,500, and they're spread out all around the world. Different countries got certain numbers. America sold out in like seconds,
Wow.
and they had like the biggest allotment of them as well. They just went. So
In
yeah,
fairness, I bought mine by about 5 minutes past 10.
it was that soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Twitter and Facebook was going mad with people saying, I bought it. Yeah, it's all good. So, is that it for the Games Workshop new releases, other than rumours?
We've got a little rumour to come up with, haven't we? But other than that,
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything else. So, on to the rumours. Now, on Warseer, again, we don't know this for sure. It's still rumoured at this point. There's been no photos. There's been no hard evidence of this is what you're getting. However,
there's been an email from GW, hasn't there, saying that it is coming in September.
yeah,
Which is is it Island of Blood?
Isle of Blood or Island of Blood, and it's to replace the Battle for Skull Pass box set. In the box, apparently, is a miniature rulebook, same as the 7th edition one, which we know is correct because we've seen.
Yep.
Then you get 2 armies, and it's Skaven and High Elves.
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, again,
Yeah. So we think. So, the rumoured Skaven army is a warlord, a warlock, 40 clan rats, 20 slaves, a poison wind mortar, a warp fire thrower, 2 rat ogres with packmasters, and 5 poison wind globadiers.
I do like how you've skipped me notes and gone straight to the Skaven because that's the one you're interested in.
Yeah, I have done. Well, what other notes do you have? You had the high elves.
Yeah.
We'll do them second. Now, what is interesting here is obviously slaves. No models for slaves.
No, well, at the moment, it's you buy a box of clan mats, and is it 10 and 10 split, armoured and
There's
unarmoured?
basically there's some that have got more armour than others.
Yeah.
And all I've done with mine is gone sort of through them and go, yeah, slave, clan rat, slave, clan rat.
Yeah, well,
Um,
it'd be interesting to see if they do bring slaves or if it's just the clan mat box sets or if
well,
it's new models entirely.
They're going to be, I would imagine, they're going to be brand new models because I would think like all the starter box sets, they'll be push fit ones.
Yeah, probably.
Do you know what I mean? So, again, the rat ogres, again, push fit ones of them, they'll be new. I mean, look what they did with the troll. That was push fit.
Yeah, so the ones that grabs me is the poisoned wind mortar because we don't have one of them at the
Don't
moment.
have one of them,
So it
no.
would be interesting to see that. And also warp fire thrower, the current one's a bit dated. It'd be interesting to see what the
Very
new one looks
dated.
like.
And the same with the globadiers.
Yeah, they are. They're really, really old. So they reckon that comes in at about 800 points, assuming full command and a smattering of magic items and magic levels. So, onto the high elves. You want me to do the high elves? Okay.
Yeah, I did the
So
scaling.
you get a prince on a griffin. This is all plastic. A mage on foot, 20 sea guard, 10 sword masters, and 5 Elvian reavers. Now, that comes in at like a third of the models, but twice the points. So, 1,100 points, assuming full command and smattering of extra equipment, a level 2 wizard, but no magic items on there. So, yeah, be interesting to see how they come out when they're here.
I'd love to see that griffin. If it is a push-fit starter one. I mean,
push fit plastic starter kit griffin.
That's quite
Yeah,
impressive.
it'd be good, won't it?
It's moved on from when I started. The griffin you got in my starter set was cardboard.
Yeah.
You stood him on a little base.
Yeah, I like that. That was push fit, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Into the base.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Ahead of the times.
Now they reckon in the box you get the rule book, you get an Armies of Warhammer section describing all the armies with lots of pictures. You get extra battles like the ones from the rule book, but the odd different one, you know what I mean, different scenario and campaign battle.
Oh, that's good.
And then there's various pieces of terrain and stuff like that, which is all high elf themed, we think. But again, this is all rumours. I'm kind of hoping it's true. And to be fair, that it is sort of getting to the stage now when the rumours are coming thick and fast and more solid.
The Skaven High Elf rumour's been on there for a long time. Not the contents, but that it will be Skaven and High Elf. So
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. Man, I say wait and see. If it's out in September, I dare say the GW emails will be going out in a month or so, won't they?
Yeah, of course they will. It won't be long.
They'll be wanting pre-orders, won't they?
Okay, so I think that's about enough Games Workshop news. Now, we do have a few bits of news from other things. First up, the Warlords GT. So this is the biggest event in the UK last year, which was surpassed by the South Coast GT this year.
Yep.
And then it's promising to be pretty big again this time around because they've got a 40k side event. Now, there's been some discussion on the forums as whether to change it to 8th or stay at 7th. And the main fear is that they'd not got enough time between the release of 8th to write a rules pack and get it all. So it's an enjoyable weekend for the players instead of everyone bringing the hardest army they can and just taking abuse of the system. Now, they've had a vote. The majority of the players, I think it's about 70% of them, have voted for 8th edition. So what they're going to do, they're going to run it as 8th edition, and they're also going to run a small 7th edition side event for anyone who wants to go and still play 7th. So what do you think to that?
It baffles me. It does baffle me. One thing, though, well done to the guys, I suppose, for asking people's opinion and listening to it.
Yep.
You can't criticise them for that for a second, but surely 8th edition. What? I don't know. I've got no...
What baffles me, right, it's nothing to do with the organisers. It's the people who's voted for 7th. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Are we an oddity because we've been playing it for a couple of weeks already, and by the time it's out, we've been playing it for a month? And
I don't know. Maybe we are. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, I haven't got time to learn a new rule set because I don't play that often." But if you don't play that often, you don't know the 7th edition that well.
Yeah,
and
of
8th
course.
edition isn't a million miles away from it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? The magic's changed, the terrain's changed. Not a huge else. Is sort of tweaks here, tweaks there, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. And also as well, I'm not sure about all these people fretting over comp.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean,
Let it be.
with regards to comp for the new edition, it is obviously a big thing because a lot of events are comped. I mean, I'm sure we've got listeners, probably American listeners actually, because I know they play without comp, who just go, "What a comp? Why? Why would you bother?" But in England, we have a lot of comp systems of all variety of power levels.
Yep.
I know Australia have got a pretty heavy comp systems. There's a lot of listeners over there who'll be able to know what we're talking about with this. It's the fact that you can bring anything, and the gloves are off, and people will. It won't take long for the list to go up on the internet of, "Look what I've figured out, it's just so broken, you can't beat it." And people will start bringing the horrendous list. However, I don't think they're going to kill the game in the way that they used to.
No.
Now, I played last night, Greg Milne. He had 70 Empire handgunners, 4 war machines, and a big unit of outriders in 2,000 points. Then a level 4, 2 level 1s, 2 generals, 2 engineers in the mortars, And it was just a gun line. And we played Battle for the Pass, randomly generated. He set up all on the baseline, and I still got there, still managed to beat him.
Yep.
Because you use the terrain rules, you don't get the +1 for shooting your large targets anymore. You can use what terrain you can to keep away from the cannons. A lot comes down to what terrains are going to be on the table, and this is why we're going to talk about the terrain rules shortly. Because all the terrain, most of it doesn't slow infantry at all. Infantry can move through it as if it's not there. What you get the penalties for is the cavalry and the
monsters and things like that.
Yeah, and if you know what I mean, if they're having to avoid the terrain, stay in the open and get shot, so what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let them. Bring the infantry. Let the infantry game rule. How's a gun line going to go on against a vampire army, which is immune to sight, doesn't run away, all the ghouls are toughness 4, and they just run across the board at them, 8 inches a turn, magic movement.
Yep, all at -1 to hit because they're in trees and hedges and...
Or because they've got a line of zombies in front of them.
Yeah.
Or bats. You know what I mean? It's... Man, you know what I mean? A skirmish screen of bats running in front of them, 10 inches a turn, the ghouls going up behind at 8 inches.
I think the biggest thing for me is, I mean, we're sat here saying, oh no, it's not going to, because we've had a good look at the book, we've played a few games. You know, probably a few more than some people, probably a lot less than other people. But we're still thinking one way, other people are thinking the other way. We need to find out. So comping an event in middle of September, early September, to a book that's been out for 6 to 8 weeks, why? You're not going to know anything.
No, of course you're not. It's far too soon for that sort of thing. Granted, if someone wants to start a comp system for the new year, 2011, I'll happily help them write it, you know what I mean?
I'll add my feedback to it, no problem.
Any feedback they want at all. Someone starts doing it this year when you don't even know, it's, I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me.
No.
It doesn't seem
to
right
be honest, as well, I know it's a bit of a long shot, but Games Workshop might have
got it right.
Might have got it right. You know, I know it's shocking, but it may have happened.
Yeah.
And also as well, people saying, oh, people will just bring gun lines, people who do this. The people who do that are the same people that will go right up to any comp. And I know I'm included in this, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Well,
do you know what I mean?
We are main suspects. I'm sure that we're the people that are writing the comp system.
You put a comp system up for an Empire army and I'll hit the shooting cap, I'll hit the magic cap, you know.
Bring all your monsters.
I'll hold my hands up to that. You know, so does it really matter? People are still going to do it. Still going to bring as bad a list as they possibly can. Other people are going to turn up with some men and push it about and still have a grand old time.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, so that's the Warlords GT. I will be there, and I'm quite happy about it because I was going to drop out if it was left at 7th edition, but no, we're definitely going to 8th. Now, another tournament which has been announced is the Throne of Schools for the new season. We've discussed the new format already, and now the rules pack's out for the new how the tournament's actually running.
Yep.
So, do you want to give a quick overview, or do you want me to go over that?
Well, start with one thing I did notice, which I think is good, because there's a few of these.
Okay.
Is they've changed the schedule. So now, Friday, you can register from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock, which means if you're going to come down for the weekend on the Friday, you can register, save queuing up in the morning. Also, Bugman's will be open until 10.
10 o'clock, yeah, which is good.
Which is good.
They throw us out at 6, 7 o'clock.
Well, sometimes they throw you out at 6, sometimes they stay open until 10. It's very hit and miss, but now it looks like they've arranged it so that's it. That's a permanent feature now of gaming on the Friday, which is good. And also, they've extended the round times, so you get an hour, 2.5 hours for each round.
Yeah, and now the other thing I've noticed is they have also included evening entertainment.
Yes.
Now, that's obviously, because it's in the rules pack, they're going to have to put something on.
Yeah.
And that's included in the one-day events as well as the two-day events.
Which, to be honest, though, I think they did a good job of the heats last time around and the final of putting stuff on. I think there was a bit more than there has been.
Yeah, every time they do one, it's getting a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah.
So hopefully they've learnt from that and they're going to take it to the next level. Now, onto the rules. These are a little bit crazy, aren't they? So, I'll read the rules pack. You will play a series of games, 3 in a one-day tournament or 5 in a 2-day. So that's 5 games, not 6.
Yep.
You'll score 3 tournament points for each game you win, 1 point for each draw, and nothing for any losses. In addition, you will get to choose one of the armies you played against to receive your favourite army vote. After all the votes are cast, you will receive 1 bonus point if you get up to 1 vote. 3 points if you receive 2 votes, and 5 points if you receive 3 or more votes. So if you won 2 games, lost 1, and one person gave your favourite army vote, you'd score 7 points.
Yeah.
Okay? So, the favourite army vote, what do you think?
Well, again, the word in here is completely subjective. Judgment can be based on quality of the painting, the character of the army, its effectiveness on the tabletop, how nice the opponent was, or a combination of these qualities. It's up to you to decide.
Yeah, so it gives you the option of just, if you've had a really enjoyable game, just picking it, and, you know what I mean? But
it also gives unscrupulous people the option of voting for their mate.
Yeah, of course it does. Well, we'll talk about the whys and the what fors afterwards. Let's run down the rules pack. So the next thing up is basically the tournament rules. So Warhammer, the one we're interested in, is 2,000 points.
Mm-hmm.
One of the joys of this rules pack, it's a 4-page pack which covers all game systems.
Yeah.
So Warhammer's 2,000 points. You can use any of the currently eligible in-print army lists. So there's none of the Storm of Chaos, none of the Lustria, none of that stuff.
That's
none of the
not been around
things.
for a long time, has it?
Yeah, exactly. Just the same as the last GT. So terrain will be on the gaming tables set by the organisers, which I imagine will just be the Citadel terrain.
But there's also a little sub-note of that. If any scenario requires you to use a special terrain feature, then you call over an umpire and it will be provided for you. So, actually, the Warhammer, the new Warhammer's got a watchtower scenario in. So if you've not got a building or a watchtower, shout a guy over and he'll bring you one.
Yeah, so we've already done the scoring system, and so in the final round we've done that, the favourite army boats. Now there's something as well about if you get tied. So if you get tied for a place, the extra points will be given to someone who has got the most characterful army list.
Mm-hmm. Be that it looks pretty, you've got a story, you've named your characters and your units.
So what happens if 2 people are tied and they've both got equally characterful lists?
One must be more characterful than the other.
Or they roll a dice on it, or maybe it's paper, scissors, stone.
Maybe they fight.
Oh, that'd be good.
I was going to say something rude then, but maybe.
Okay, and so to decide the overall tournament winner, how do they do that then, Ben?
It's kind of similar to the way Unseen Lurker do their big fish.
Yep. Okay, so they take the average of every army in your race. Mm-hmm. So say you're using Empire. Mm-hmm. The position of every player who used Empire is then they get an average of that, not counting the top one.
Yeah.
Because obviously the person who's done best, it would be a disadvantage of him to do well.
Yeah.
So that would reduce the average or increase the average. And then whoever's beat their average by the most score,
whichever race has beat their average by the most score.
Well, it's whichever person, because you'd have the highest in that race.
It is, yeah.
Whichever person's beat their average by the biggest score will win the overall first place or overall winner. So it's a bit crazy. Now, what are your thoughts?
I don't not like it as an event. Do you know what I mean? We went to the Unseen Lurker one, which is essentially the same system.
Yes.
Okay.
Without the favourite army thing.
Without the favourite army thing, which we enjoyed, don't get me wrong. However, it's such a massive difference to what it was.
Well, I think the other thing we didn't mention was the fact that it's 5 random opponents. There's no Swiss.
Yeah. Again, I think that adds to the what I'm trying to say is it being so different from the GT that we know and love. Because let's be honest, we do fucking love it.
Oh, yeah.
Once a year, gloves off. To now, essentially a hobby weekend?
Yes. What I don't get is why they couldn't run a hobby weekend and a tournament weekend.
I don't know. Unless Games Workshop are going the Nintendo route.
Yeah, maybe.
Happy, fluffy, we're all here to have fun.
No headshots.
Yeah, no headshots. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems very odd to me. I'm going to go. I'm going to give one a try.
Oh, yeah.
But at 55 quid, it's a lot of money, but I'm going to give one a try. I will give it a go. So we'll see where we get.
One thing, though, is we're living 15 miles from Warhammer World.
Yeah. Will you travel from Italy, Spain, France?
Well, would you
Denmark?
travel from Portsmouth?
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's I don't know. I'm disappointed with them, to be fair.
It wasn't what I was expecting. Like I say, I don't dislike it. But it's certainly not a GT.
No, it's not a GT.
Do you know what I mean? Not.
And given the choice of 2 events on the same weekend, I'll be going to a tournament independently run rather than the Games Workshop one, the Games Workshop hobby event.
Well, that depends on what they'll do with terrain and cannon and cannons ruining Warhammer. And
yeah. Okay, so I think that's enough. Enough news, Warhammer news. So there's one bit of bad dice news we've got to announce. So we've now, you look amazed, like you didn't know, you don't know what it's going to be.
What's this? It's exciting.
Okay, so we have now opened to the public the Bad Dice forums. So they've been in forums in it for a while, running in the Snake Eyes section only. We've opened them to the general public, something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and now's the perfect opportunity with 8th edition coming.
Yep.
Gives everyone a chance to get on board, chat about stuff, give us some ideas of things to talk about for the show. So if you're an existing Snake Eyes member, there's still a Snake Eyes section on the forums. This is where all the bonus content is hidden. There's also a separate section where you can chat away from the unwashed mashers, so to speak. And there's also where most of the contests will be going now. So you're going to need to be a Snake Eyes member to enter the majority of the contests. There'll still be the odd few for normal members. Well, it's free to see the rest of the forums. Just go on there. You're going to have to register to be able to view them. And yeah, get on there and have a chat. Now, the other thing, a nice segue from the forums, is dice. We also have some bad dice.
Yes.
Bright yellows with a flaming logo on the front of them, on the 6. And you can get these off the forum for a limited time at a discount price. Once to go on the main Bad Dice website, they're going to be going up in price just a bit. So it's £5 for a set of 10, and it's £1.50 postage. So for £6.50 you get 10 dice. If they're the Bad Dice, if you're a Snake Eyes member, if you're Snake Eyes, Ben, pack it up. He's sending me stupid messages. If you're a Snake Eyes member, you can get them for free postage. And also, if you sign up as a Snake Eyes member and buy your dice at the same time, you get them for £4 a set to your door.
Wow.
So, yeah, pretty cheap. Very, very cheap, actually.
And the dice ain't bad either.
No, the dice are pretty good. Although we have been told the Ben Diesel dice.
Yes. Because the Dice Man couldn't fit the proper logo on, so it's BD.
BD. So anyway, get on the forums. They have an announcement post, so at the top of any of the forum pages, you'll be able to see the Bad Dice dice announcement. There's a photo of them on there and payment details and things like that. Like I say, once they're going on the website, they're going up by a couple of quid, so get them quick before they leave the forums. Okay, so we're going to have a short break. We're going to come back with our Fortnite in Fantasy, do a quick chat about that, and then we're going to go into our main show feature. Do you play 40k? Do you enjoy the dynamic movement and the line-of-sight flexibility that the game has to offer? Is it the guns and tanks and alien monsters that do it for you? What you need is Warhammer Army's Lizardmen. This army packs enough firepower to decimate your average Land Raider in no time at all. They move and shoot in all directions, and every model is an all-adventure hero. They can even bomb the shit out of you while you hide in a forest. Not to mention, you get dinosaurs. Okay, so we're going to do a Fortnite in Fantasy now. So, what have you been up to, Ben?
Well, we went to Four Nations, Six Nations.
Yeah.
ETC practice.
Over in Cardiff at Firestorm Games, wasn't it?
Yes. Rob there did a grand job, really, didn't he? We missed most of it, didn't we? Because we came down Saturday morning.
Yeah, so he put a bit of a do on Friday night, didn't he? Some football on and some fridge full of free beer and stuff like that. Barbecue, yeah. So that was all good. And we went up Saturday morning, and it was basically ETC shorthand. Only 6 teams, teams of 8.
England, Scotland, Wales, the 2 islands, and Team Sexy.
Team Sexy, which was Team Unseen Lurker, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team UN.
Team UN, that was it. So how did it go?
England won. If that answers your question.
Yeah, sort
of. It went really well. The venue was great. The teams were great. And it was really good practice, I thought. Really good practice for us as well. But also as well, like we said about the last one, a lot of practice for the smaller teams of seeing how it all works.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 Irish teams and the Scottish team have been before.
Yeah.
The Welsh team is the first outing. So I get to see how it works. And the Team UN were basically mainly people who want to play for England next year, so they get a good chance to practice now and see how it is next year. So they've got some knowledge when it comes to applying for the team.
Yeah.
Might
decide it's not for them.
Yeah, also, they might have not enjoyed themselves, but I think everyone did.
Yeah, it did seem that way. I mean, it felt pretty relaxed. There was no game faces on as far as I saw.
No, nothing too strenuous. There's a few, but nothing major. I mean, we're not going to go into our games too much because obviously the whole ETC thing. And also, we're going to do a Six Nations Snake Eyes episode. So that will be available over the next couple of weeks from the Snake Eyes section. And we're going to do a special on that, just me and Ben chatting about it. We might try and get one of the guys who also came along, see if anyone's available to chat to us as well. So other than the Six Nations, while we're still on it, we'll go through the winners then, because there was a few. So England won the overall team event, didn't they?
Yep.
And then there was a couple more trophies. So
there was best overall, which was the individual player that scored the most tournament points.
Yep.
Which I'm happy to announce I gave 18 to.
You gave 18 to him, and that was Clemens Bauer, wasn't it?
Clemens Bauer, yeah, Jack's son.
And he'd come over from Austria. Is he living in Scotland, studying in Scotland?
I think he's studying in Scotland, yeah.
And he's Austrian, he's part of the Austrian ETC team as well, so he's here on a spying mission.
Yep. He had to spend 16 hours on a bus.
Really?
16 hours on a bus, yeah.
Oh dear, that's really rough. So there's also a trophy for the winning captain, which is Marcus Pitt.
Yep.
He wasn't playing, actually, so it was... he's a lot of effort he's put in this year, hasn't he? Not even playing at the ETC.
Yeah.
So, well done to Marcus for that. He got awarded a nice shiny shield, and there's also a best army trophy, wasn't he?
Was there?
I managed to pick up.
Did I miss that one?
Yes. I was amazed at that.
I think the room was amazed at that.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
I'm sure there was some people sat behind me who were shooting daggers into the back of my head. But
there might have been one or two.
I was just like, wow. I wasn't expecting it at all. So,
child's toy for the win.
Yeah, that's it. Big shiny dragon, and people vote for you. It's awesome. So it just goes to show, though, doesn't it? My army's it's fairly well painted.
Yeah.
There's some of it's really nice, and some of it's not so good. Where I've added bits over the last year or so, and I can't be bothered to paint any more stuff. But then the dragon, the two hydras converted into chariots, it's just centerpieces. It's things that you can put in your army to just draw the eye to it, isn't it? And
who was it that voted out of interest?
It was the staff at Firestorm,
right, okay.
and a couple of the other guys who'd come down over the weekend and were playing. So it wasn't the guy. Right. Sorry, it wasn't the guys who were playing in the teams event. It was guys who were playing in the store because there's plenty of spare tables, wasn't there? Yeah. So I was well chuffed for that, and we all got a medal as well, didn't we? All
yeah,
Team England.
that was really nice touch.
Yeah.
To be honest, the whole thing was really well run.
Yeah.
I mean, on the Saturday night, they'd booked us all-you-can-eat Chinese, hadn't they, for what, 50 of us?
Yeah.
That was quite impressive.
Yeah.
Especially when someone stood up and said, right, when we've done this, we're all going to walk about, just shouting to the whole restaurant, and there was like 5-10 people in there going, what the hell
are you on about? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the rest of the restaurant was Warhammer players.
Yeah. Okay, so away from the Six Nations, what else have you been doing? Anything?
Played a couple of games of 8th. Nothing too major. Just trying to get my head around the rules.
Yeah, same here. I've been a bit busy with 8th. I played a couple of games of 7th as well, trying to keep sharp on guessing charge distances and shooting distances instead of just getting to measure it beforehand.
I've made some terrain, which we'll be discussing later.
Yep.
And I've stuck a few Skaven together as well.
How you getting on with the Skaven?
All right so far, all right. I've sort of stuck together what I've got.
Yep.
I need to siphon some money off so the missus don't see to buy some.
Oh, right, is that what it's like?
No, it's not quite that bad, but I've got a few bits and bobs that I could probably just get rid of to fund the next one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's, I've been selling some stuff recently. I mean, check out the Bad Dice forums, you'll be able to see that. But
you can't pimp your own stuff, dude. Come on.
Of course I can. But it's just stuff that I've just been stacking up, and it's like, get rid of it. I put a Blood Bowl team for sale, and it was gone straight away. It's like, I'm painting another one for someone else because they want one in the same colour scheme. So it's like, oh, yeah, I could do that. Just the amount of crap that you gather, which is gold to someone else, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So anything else non-gaming related, maybe?
Watched a bit of football.
Yeah, World Cup. So that was quite depressing, wasn't it?
Kind of a bit
Sunday
rubbish,
night
wasn't it?
after the ETC weekend.
Yeah, we all rushed through the last game, didn't we, to get ready for 3:00. Sat down and
Yeah, and England would die.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what? They kind of deserved it.
Oh,
the way they
they-
played in the
they
group, it
deserve
was
that.
awful, and I'm quite glad to see the back of it. It means I can enjoy the tournament now instead of worrying what England are going to do.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, again, no one's really stood out so far. Brazil looked good the other night when they beat
Yeah.
they beat Chile. Was it Chile they beat?
No, but yes.
Beat them 3-0, didn't they?
Yes.
Was it Chile? I can't remember.
Yeah,
The
it
first
was.
You see their first goal?
Yep.
Just big corner, defender, rose like a salmon, bang, one.
Yep. Just classic set piece. Just classic English set piece.
yeah.
Set piece.
And then watch Spain-Portugal last night as well.
Portugal looked good, and then they've sort of...
I was really disappointed with that game.
Then that game was coming, and it should have been a classic, and it was 1-0 to Spain,
Yeah.
and it was just like... I mean, Spain have been solid. I don't know. Well, it's a Warhammer podcast, and we probably shouldn't be talking about footy so much.
Maybe you're right. The Grand Prix.
Oh, behave yourself.
Mark Webber flying through the air.
Didn't see it.
Did you not see it?
No, didn't see it.
Oh, dude. He goes up the back of one car, flips 360, well, not 360, 180 onto his roof,
Oh, dear.
lands on the ground, bounces over, slam into the tyres.
Nice.
It was ace. And they've got an onboard camera shot, and it's like he's at Alton Towers. You see him go up the back of Hakey Cakey, and then you just see the sky.
Nice.
Really cool.
Very good. So back to Warhammer, maybe.
Okay.
So, mate, you've been asleep all night, and all you've woke up for is Grand Prix and football.
You said anything else?
Okay. Anything else Warhammer related?
No.
No, nothing at all. Okay, so we'll go for another break, and then we're going to come back with our Astro features. Unseen Lurker is a new, exciting gaming magazine covering gaming, tactics, hobby, modelling, reviews, interviews, and even the occasional zebra. Each issue has a quarter of the magazine available for download, so you can try before you buy. It's the first independent global magazine encompassing articles from generals and hobbyists all over the world. Every issue of Unseen Lurker, that's Lurker with an E, is packed with giveaways such as custom dice, t-shirts, as well as the Game of the Month as reviewed by our Unseen Lurker test dummies. For more information, check out unseenlurker.com. Okay, so we're back from the break and on to the first of our features, which is terrain, and basically a quick discussion on how it's going to work in the new edition, and more to the point, what tournament's going to do with it.
I think a lot of that's going to come down to the players.
Okay,
to be honest.
in what
'cause,
way?
Well, majority of the tournaments in the UK, the players supply the terrain.
Yeah, you're right.
So it depends on what they bring. I mean, I've sort of tried to preempt it a bit. I've started making some new stuff, with 8th edition in mind.
Yeah, you've read through the rules and you've just built some random bits. So what have we got in front of us?
We've got a couple of woods, some wall sections, a charnel pit, I think it's called.
Yep, it's the one that was in White Dwarf, wasn't it?
Yeah. What else? An Idol of Gork or Mork.
Yep.
Something off the Arcane Ruins set, the pointy one, which could be used as various different things.
Arcane Monolith is one of the ones.
There's a few, isn't there, that it could work for. Again, just trying to keep in mind that, like the woods, they're the Citadel woods, but making sure that units can still get inside them, so I'm not sticking the trees down, because units are going to want to get inside them a lot more now.
Yeah, this is the thing, you see, with all the terrain not slow in movement, whether it's infantry, cavalry, monsters, whatever. Now, people are going to want to use the terrain and try and use it to their advantage of being in it when you can. And even if you have to take some difficult terrain tests with your cavalry, you're still going to be going through it because you're going to be getting it harder to be shot while you're inside it. Now, infantry, you're going to head straight for the woods instead of if you're crossing the table to a gun line, you're going to go straight through the woods because you're -1.
You're going to go, well, again, it's benefiting you. It's all it's going to do, because infantry, it doesn't slow in any way. So why wouldn't you?
And the other thing is, having an awesome looking table full of terrain, it's going to be great to play on.
Yeah.
And yeah, infantry, cavalry and monsters get dangerous terrain tests. Oh wow, infantry get bonuses then.
Yeah.
Or if your terrain's not big enough for cavalry to hide behind and monsters to hide behind, don't matter, does it? So what if they get shot? Bring it back to the infantry. That's what people have been crying out for however long they've been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now they're saying, well, the forums, those who shout the loudest are the minority normally, but I don't know. I'd like to see people embrace the new terrain rules, use it as an opportunity to paint up good stuff, bring it to tournaments, and see how we go from there. Now, out of the terrain rules, what's caught your eye?
The main thing, again, is infantry basically get a free run, which I think changes the game hugely. So stuff, again, just take a forest. Infantry can move through it freely, and to get shot at, if they're in it, they get -1. One thing that does do, as well, which is a slight bad thing towards infantry, is you become dispersed.
You're not stubborn anymore.
So you lose, I think
Disrupted.
Disrupted, that's the one, so you lose all your ranks.
Oh, you lose your ranks as well. Ooh.
While you're fighting in a forest.
Okay.
Which, again, can be good, can be bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know then. I don't know what's the best. Do you want to get in a forest if you get caught out?
I think
Before we go into this, let's just run down the main types of terrain. So, obviously, open ground's the easy first one, isn't it?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, pretty much nothing. If you want to model your board with cornfields and things like that, you can use them as open ground, so the board still looks interesting. Impassable, just as it was before, pretty much, except you can go into impassable if you're fleeing.
Yeah.
Which is a strange one, but it's clear, isn't it?
It is. I mean? It makes me kind of chuckle because I think is one of the things on there they talk about is a lava field as one of the descriptions of impassable terrain.
Yeah, and you have to take dangerous terrain tests.
Yeah, you can't go on a lava field normally because it's so dangerous and it's death. But if you flee through it, you die 1 in 6 times.
Yeah,
which kind of makes me chuckle.
Yeah, I like that. Let's run away from them goblins into the lava field, boys. Oh, don't. So the next time we've got is mysterious terrain. Now, this is the good one, isn't it?
I
like
love this. When you roll up on the terrain chart for like a forest, one of the results on there is a mysterious forest. So you plonk your forest down, but you don't know what it is. And the first time that unit moves into it or is deployed in it, you roll on the chart, and that tells you what it could be.
Yeah, so I mean, the first game of 8th I was playing against the beloved Bobo, and he's like, mysterious wood, you got a lot of shooting, I could do a bit in it. I know, let's deploy some skinks in it, find out what it does. It's like, oh, it's nasty, we won't put a Crocosaurus in there.
Yeah.
So that's basically, it can be all different types of mysterious stuff. There's
Yeah.
loads of different rules for what it can be. There's a table to roll on, I do believe. So the next type is dangerous terrain. So basically, it's you can risk life and limb going through the terrain, and you die on a 1, or you take a wound on a 1 with no armor saves.
To chariots take D6?
Yeah, chariots on a 1 take D6 wounds, and it is just wounds. It's not strength hits or anything like that. It's wounds.
So dangerous terrain is dependent on the terrain and dependent on the type of model moving into it, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon.
And what kind of movement it's doing as well. Some things can move through it fine, but if you march, you take a test.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, one of the other things we've got in the terrain rules section is it's called the importance of definition, and it's a side note at the top of the page saying just always agree at the start of the battle with your opponent to decide what type of terrain it is, what things do, and all that sort of stuff, to save any arguments later and to save time later as well.
Yeah. Well, it's something similar we used to do in 7th anyway, wasn't it, really? What's this?
Yeah.
Is it a stony wood? Also as well, if you've got a building and it's on a base, do you play to the base or do you play to the building?
Yeah, you discuss it.
Do you know what I mean?
Start,
That's something to discuss, yeah.
Okay, so that's your basic types of terrain, and then you've got different... So then it goes on to say what sort of terrain it is, so hills, and then hills have got all different sorts of types of hill, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, the hill, to start with, has got its own generic rule for being a hill. And then there are specific rules depending on what sort of terrain piece you're playing it as.
Yeah, and it says, there's like the line of sight rules. Models on a hill are more likely to be able to trace a line of sight past other models on lower levels, making hills practical vantage points for your missile troops. Then it just says, see page 10 for how line of sight works. So that's an interesting one. If you're on the hill, you can see over people's heads. And it's not like the old one where you can just see in theory, no matter how big the models are or how small they are. Okay, different types of hills. There's a few different ones you can roll on to see what type they are, if you like, can't you? So there's an Anvil of Vol. Basically, it gives you magical and flaming attacks if you're within 6 of it. There's a Scree Slope, so models charging, marching, or fleeing, up, shooing, up and down the hill. you must take a dangerous terrain test because it's like an avalanche, it's slippery. Then there's a Temple of Schools.
I like this one.
So at the beginning of each player turn, any character or champion on the Temple of Schools can choose to embrace the favour of the Chaos Gods. If he does, on a roll of a D6, on a 2 to 6, one randomly chosen characteristic increases by D3 points. On a 1, the Chaos Gods take his soul and is killed with no saves of any kind allowed. I quite like that, especially with the new character rules. You could just have a cheap-ass character standing on the throne of schools, a Temple of Schools, and he can sit and charge himself up for 5 turns.
Well, I did it with a crossbowman champion. I can't remember what he got. Oh, wounds, that was it. It was a 3-wound crossbowman champion. Does fuck all, but...
Yeah, it was quite impressive.
Great story. Wow.
So, on to the next ones, we've got forests. Now, again, there's loads of different types of forests. And the way you define what your scenery is we'll get to in a bit. Once we've gone through all the types, we'll talk about how you roll it up at the start of the game. But your forests, basically, if cavalry, monstrous cav, or chariots march, charge, or overrun, or flee or pursue through a forest, it takes dangerous terrain test. Flyers can begin or end the move in there and take a dangerous terrain test, but moving through it is fine because they're presumed to go over it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're shooting, if you're in a forest, you count as soft cover for shooting, provided the majority of models are in a forest. And if you have to shoot through it as well, so if you got people on either side of the forest, you're shooting through it, that's also -1.
Yeah.
In combat, you never be steadfast, so you can get your ranks. You just can't be steadfast. You can't be stubborn. And skirmishers are always stubborn when they're in a wood.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there's different types of forests. If you've got a mysterious forest, you can roll a d6 and see what it does. And you have to do this once you go into it. So, on a 1, it's ordinary. So you're fine. On a 2, it's an abyssal wood. It causes models in the wood cause fear. And then it starts getting a bit more interesting. So number 3 is a blood forest. When anyone goes in there, the trees go into a feeding frenzy, and the units suffer D6 strength 4 hits. Then when any hits have been resolved, the blood forest moves 2d6 inches in a random direction, moving around any intervening terrain features by the shortest route. This does not move the models that were in the forest. The forest simply walks off and leaves them behind. So what do you reckon to that?
I think it's my favourite one.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. So then we've got the Venom Thicket. Basically, anyone in it gets poison attacks. But when you're moving through it, you have to take dangerous terrain, even if you're just moving and not marching. And then the Wildwood, you have to roll a dice. On a 4+, you take D6 strength 4 hits. That one's just a bit dangerous.
You forgot about the Fungus Forest as well, which
sorry, I missed that one.
Makes you stupid.
Yeah, unless you're in a goblin unit.
Yeah,
and you're stubborn.
You're stubborn.
But then if you're in a wood, you're not. Skirmishers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we've got rivers. Now, rivers is something we never saw. 7th edition, was it?
No, but it does also say as well that could be, you can use the same rules for marshes and lakes and sort of jazz.
Yeah.
But then, again, did we never see them? Because they were just a pain in the arse. It didn't do anything other than slow the world.
Yeah, it took up half the table and just slowed it all down.
Yeah.
Whereas now it doesn't really matter. And then there's all different types, isn't it? Again, there's mysterious rivers.
Yeah.
So if you roll one up and it's a mysterious one,
you have to go in it and see what it is.
Yeah. So then there's a boiling flood. Anyone in it takes a strength 4 hit. That's a lot of strength 4 hits for every model.
I like the Raging Torrent. It's cold, and you sort of go in it and, oh dear. So you get +3 initiative because you're invigorated. It's like being at Skeggy. It's
I
bracing.
like that. Yeah, it's bracing. It wakes you up. You've got Necrotic Ooze, so it counts as dangerous terrain for all, and then you get poison attacks the following player turn. So that's quite good. While you goop out the water,
you've got
still on your
swamp
blades.
goop on your weapon.
Yeah, then you've got your River of Blood. It's just a fear test as you're covered in blood for the next turn. And River of Light, which is the immediate target of a randomly chosen light spell. Now, is there any bad ones in light, or are they all good?
I'm not sure.
No, neither
There
am I.
must be some bad ones.
Offhand, I can't remember. I should have checked that before. So yeah, rivers. They've got marshland. I mean, we're not going to go through all these. There's some Earthblood Mere. There's the Kemrian Quicksand, the Mist Wreath Swamp. It's all quite funky stuff. And then the obstacles are quite an interesting one, aren't they? Because an obstacle is something else you never saw a lot of. Because again, it took up so much of the table.
Yeah.
But again, now obstacles do not impede movement. If a unit ends its move with some of its ranks or files on different sides, simply place the models appropriately on both sides of the obstacle. The unit suffers no ill effects. If a cavalry or monsters, blah, 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 charge, so infantry can move, charge over it as normal. Cavalry and monsters can move over it as normal. It's just when you charge or flee or do an action other than moving. And then it goes on to tell you what sort of covers you get and how they go in combat. Now, if one of your units is charging an enemy who is touching the other side of an obstacle, it counts as defended. Measure the charge distance to the obstacle rather than the unit.
Yeah, so it basically becomes part of your formation, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then similarly, if the charge is successful, you move the unit into contact with the obstacle rather than the unit itself. So, yeah, it's, I don't know, they've cleaned up a lot of the rules for different sort of things. Now, one of the things that did catch my eye about the obstacles is the types of obstacles. Now, a blazing barricade. Okay, so if a unit completes a charge against a defended blazing barricade, it immediately suffers 1 strength 4 hit for each model in contact with the obstacle. So what about the people on the other side of it who are always touching it?
They've damped their side down, so they're fine.
So you can walk up to it, and you can stand there with it burning in front of you, and you're fine.
Yep, they've, like I said, their side of it, they've just wetted it all nice.
Oh, okay, that's fine. And then we've got a Blessus Bulwark, which is just a -1 to hit, and pretty much nothing else. Half the initiative if you're fighting over it. If you're a force of destruction.
Bad guys.
Yeah, bad guys. So it's got holy water sprinkled on it. And then you've just got a fence, which is nothing exciting. But you've also got a ghost fence, which grants soft cover. How does that work?
I don't know.
So this ghostly fence...
I don't know. I don't think the fence is made of ghosts.
Well, what is it?
Well, how would that keep sheep in?
I don't really know what to say to that.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so it makes you cause fear as well, and then there's a wall. So again, there's hundreds of different types of obstacles, and it really would be a travesty if this sort of stuff wasn't used in tournaments.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The game's been written for it, and it's just, it needs to be used. Mystical monuments. I mean, there's 30 pages of
terrain.
Yeah, we've gone through, made our notes on it all, and we've just flabbergasted by the amount. I don't know. Do you want to go through all of these, or?
I think people get the idea.
Yeah, there's just masses and masses of it. Now, buildings have changed quite dramatically.
One also thing as well is there's also lots of things in there that you could quite easily theme around your army. So if you go to a tournament nowadays, you don't have to bring 3 bits of terrain. Lots of people theme it by painting it up to match their army. You can also now, like the Altar of Cain, if you've got a Dark Elf army. Do you know what I mean? So it's not only painted up like your army, but it also does shit that helps your army. I think it gives you all frenzy. Yeah,
it gives you all frenzy, but then you run off all full of spunk and fire, and you're not so angry when you get to the unit that you're trying to beat up.
You know, it's cool.
Yeah, of course it is. So buildings, because buildings are quite a big one, and a lot of I think there's going to be a lot of buildings on the table nowadays, because everyone can get into them and fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're riding on, under, what sort of monster you are or model you are. Only certain units can garrison a building, so that means take and hold it. But anyone can attack it, which I think is awfully cinematic. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this on the last show, but when have you watched a movie with a monster in it, and they haven't had a scene of that monster attacking a confined space, whether it's a building or a cave or something like that?
Good Jaws. That attacked the inside of a boat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's just, there's always, and imagine something like a Hydra attacking a building with his heads going in all different windows. And
did we not say this before, about just all the heads inside breathing fire and then it getting stuck?
We might have done, yes. So you can model a building with a Hydra in it and its head coming out the chimney and out the windows and out the doors.
Not only is it more cinematic, but it also means you're not immune now to stuff. You stick a unit, you play Bretonians especially. Do you know what I mean? What are you going to fight a building with? Peasants.
Yeah, it's not going to happen,
Come
is
on.
it? Now you're going to charge it with your knights and beat it up.
Or at least have a chance at beating it up.
Yeah, of course it is. So, pretty much similar to how it used to work. At the start of close combat, before any blows are struck, the players can choose 10 models from their unit to form the Courageous Assault Party. So you choose which 10. Most of the time this means 10 identical warriors, or at least 9 and a champion. So you allocate your attacks in initiative order as normal. You can challenge, one challenge per building. There's rules for special attacks, that's all covered. Then the combat res just go on wounds. Nothing else matters. Standards, ranks, all that doesn't apply. But a musician will still win a drawn combat. That's pretty much the same as the last one. And you're always stubborn if you're in a building. You've always got your steadfast rule.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And there's rules for multi-part buildings. There's rules for everything. It's just brilliant. I want all my battlefields now to have buildings on. You're going to make some buildings, are you?
Yeah, well, again, it's why I've been trying to make some new terrain, because I think it's there to be used. And I think that's the whole sort of gist of the game nowadays.
Yeah, and I mean, it is. It's just insane. They've got rules for everything. It'd be a real shame if it wasn't used. So you have in front of you the notes on how to select terrain, don't you?
I do, yes. Basically, when you pole up, you roll D6 plus 4 pieces of terrain, which is the way it's done in the rulebook. Not sure how that would work for tournaments, personally, because obviously you're going from between 5 and 10.
So I think if people bring 4 pieces
I think
each,
if everyone brings 4, yeah, I think that'd be fine. Or even 3, and then one of the idle type items. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you could force people to bring a fancy one. 3 normal ones, 1 fancy one.
Yeah. Again, how do you make people do it? You give them fucking tournament points.
Yeah, give them tournament points for doing it.
Yep. And then there's a whole random terrain generating chart, which is great and all if you've got 45 pieces of terrain. Now, I intend to make about 12 to 15 and make my own chart, basically.
Oh, right, yeah. I like that.
Do you know what I mean? Because, again, on here you've got, well...
Masses and masses of it.
Yeah. I bet there's 35 bits of terrain, and obviously some of them are settlements, which is D3 buildings and D3 obstacles. So you can roll that 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? When we played the other week, Adam did it, didn't he? Rolled settlement twice.
Yep.
So they had a load of buildings on the board. So I think that's, if you're playing, especially if you're playing with your mates, get whatever terrain you've got together and do your own terrain chart.
So how do you place the terrain now?
Basically, pick it up, put it down on the board.
So do you think that will be something that's stuck with the tournaments or not?
I think so, because, again, it doesn't do what it did.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If people are tactically placing it.
Yeah, if you've got your dancing, shooting, gay army and you put a hill in the middle of the board against a gun line, which, don't get me wrong, of course you're going to do, but it doesn't do as much anymore.
No,
as it used to. And again, in 7th, if you could put a wood in the middle and then another wood next to it, means most armies can't go anywhere near it.
No, of course it can't. And now it means all your infantry can still move through it.
Yeah, infantry can stream through it. Everything else can go through it at a little bit of a risk. So I don't see any reason why you need distance from this, distance from that.
So people who have got a big fear of the gun lines ruling because of take as many war machines as you like, which don't have to guess rangers, all the shooting, which can always see everything. And then if people are having to bring 8 pieces of terrain and it's being placed wherever you like, it's gonna balance it out, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, we might be wrong.
No, of course.
In 6 months' time, then maybe, too many war machines. But I don't know. You can't get that many war machines.
No. Well, some can, but it's the odd army. You're not going to see them in every one.
Yeah, but again, if you turn up with an Empire army with 6 war machines, 3 cannons, 3 mortars, it's the same as now, isn't it? You come with something like that, and sooner, you come up against something that rips it apart.
Yeah, of course you do.
So I can't see the point. So you just roll a dice. Whoever wins puts a piece down. Opponent puts a piece down. Keep going until you've run out of pieces.
And then roll up for scenario.
I think you roll for your scenario first. I think because some of the scenarios have specific pieces of terrain in specific places.
Okay, yeah. See that.
And then you roll for a broadside. Basically follow the rules in the scenario for deployment and going first.
Good stuff. So you're building your terrain, and so what's the plan? What have you got? What have you done?
Well, at the minute, I've made a couple of woods out of the GW ones. Now, this is another point as well. Someone was mentioning at the weekend, weren't they?
Yeah.
In fact, it was guns. On about now, it's true line of sight. Obviously, you need things to go back into place. So if you move a tree, that can be as important as moving a model is.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? If you don't want your dragon to be shot, and I'll just have a look at this pretty tree and then put it down back in front of the dragon. Do you know what I mean? So the GW woods, they've got the little inserts where you put your tree, and also on the base of the tree, they've got a big root.
Yeah, it's quite a fat, chunky root, which is hard to miss.
Almost pointing. Now, what I've done is I've stuck a shield or something similar in the middle of the terrain, in the middle of the base. So when you put it down, have all the roots pointing at the shield, and you know where they're going to go.
Yeah, they all come back from the same place.
Yeah. So when you move your unit through, you know where to put that tree down. Because obviously, some of these trees, if you move it one way, it covers quite a lot. If you move it another, there's a big hole.
Yeah, it's different angles of...
Yeah. Little things like that. Also, as well, I've been trying to keep a lot of it quite low and flat.
So it's easy to pack and carry.
It's easy. Easy to pack and carry, and also easy to stand a unit on.
Oh right, I see. Yeah, now you've said that, I can see where you've.
So I've used slate because it's good. It's flat.
Yeah.
If you took the trees off there, you could quite easily put a unit on a movement tray in there without it falling over.
Yeah.
So, little tip there.
Yeah. So, if you're any advice for people who are going to be making terrain,
go to B&Q and buy a big bottle of PVA glue.
All right, is it as simple as that?
Simple as that, yeah. You can't go wrong with loads of PVA glue. And if you're making a lot of it and you're using the GW stuff, you'll go through gallons of it.
Yeah.
And it'll cost you a fortune, and it's not very good.
No. Okay, so you've been using MDF bases on all your stuff, hasn't you?
Plywood, actually.
Plywood bases?
Yeah. 4mm plywood nicked off the floor layers at work.
Oh, okay. So where can you get plywood from if you're not a joiner?
I dare say B&Q sell it.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
And what have you been doing? All your terrain pieces have been having this sort of basing, so it's got a defined edge on it, yeah?
Yeah, piece of plywood. So, like some of the I've made one of the charnel pit things out of a moon crater. So get the moon crater, draw a rough edge around it, cut it out with jigsaw. Or similar saws are available.
Yeah, be safe, kids.
Yeah, don't cut your arm off. Stick it down, PVA, sand, cat litter. Invaluable.
Yeah?
Yeah. Big stones like slate, B&Q, big pockets, sorted.
Yeah, you can normally, if you don't want to go and steal it from B&Q, like we wouldn't recommend you do.
No.
You can go and ask someone who works in there and say you want a sample to see if it matches the stuff you've got at home, and they'll give you a handful of it.
Yeah.
And normally that'll do you for... Forever, yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Also, as well, your bits box. Oh, you've got in there. Stick it to a wall.
Yeah,
stick it in the base of a wood.
I mean, you've used the bits you used the corpse cart to make your arch lector, didn't you? So all the zombie bits from the arch lector, zombie bits from the corpse cart, which you didn't use, have been used, haven't they?
Yeah, anything you've got,
on your
stick
blood
it on.
wood, and yeah, it's looking impressive. I mean, we've got photos of all this lot up on the Snakehouse section at the moment, haven't we? So we might put some up on the main forum section of how they stand now, but I think you're going to do a bit of a terrain painting blog, aren't you, on the Snakehouse section?
Yeah, that's the plan.
So keep an eye out for that. I think I'm going to have a go at making some once I've decided what army I'm going to settle on in the next edition. Because at the moment I really don't know. Well, I mean, you're going with Empire, aren't you? So you're quite happy to.
Yeah, I'm going to carry on with Empire. I've also got a Skaven army in the works.
Yeah, so you sort of know what you're on with already. So yeah, as soon as I've decided, I'm going to start knocking some up. Okay, I think that's enough for the terrain making section. So, if anyone wants any more questions on the terrain bits, whether it's the rules or whether it's just how to make it, stuff like that, head over to the forums. It's baddice.co.uk/forum and ask some questions, and we're on there regularly to post. So we're going to go for another break, then we're going to come back and talk about how we've been writing army lists for the new edition.
Hey dudes, just want to take a minute to tell you about the next big thing in wargaming. Rankings HQ is the new home for not only rankings across all game systems, but the latest social networking site for gamers around the world, including articles, image galleries, and heaps more. Create an account, track your personal progress, and compare results amongst friends and other gamers worldwide. Think you're the best gamer in town? Prove it at rankingshq.com. Join today.
Okay, so we're back with our final section, and we're going to be talking about how to go about writing a list for 8th edition. And to be honest, neither of us are quite sure. So what we're going to talk about is how we've been going about it up to now, what we've been doing. I mean, I've played a few more games than Ben, so we're just going to say what method we've been using, because we've had a lot of questions asking how to do things, how you approach it. So what are your initial thoughts, Ben?
Well, to be honest, the first thing I did was sort of like get stuff in to use around the rules that changed the most.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So, like the first game, went with a level 4 and a level 2. In fact, level 4 and 2 level 2s. To see how the magic had changed.
Yeah.
Get to, lots of spells, see what they do. I also swapped out from like the small units and knights. I figured that they weren't going to do what they did now.
Yeah, because
of the rank thing, everyone being stubborn. So I put them in a big unit. Got a unit of infantry in there myself, some swordsmen, and just again see what's changed.
I'd played around with a few of the new toys.
Yeah, a few of the new magic items as well. The hex scroll. Is it the hex scroll or the feedback scroll? I think it is.
Yeah, the one that does damage.
Yeah, quite like that one.
So my first game, I was playing with a borrowed army. So I was over at Ibis Miniatures, and they've got models strewn about the place. So I was like, well, I'll throw together a Dark Elf army. So the initial thing I thought was, let's get some Witch Elves in, because I want to play Dark Elves. Witch Elves don't suffer from the frenzy of running off all over the shop anymore, so I thought that would be fun. Also, with them attacking an extra man from the back rank, and you get a lot of attacks from the front rank, another attack each from the second rank, Cauldron of Blood in there, chucking loads of dice at them, poison, and high initiative. The initiative 6 the Witches are.
Yeah, not bad.
So, again, I looked at the biggest change, which was infantry are now good. Okay, what's good infantry? Which elves are good? Initiative's high. We have some of that. I went with the magic again. Chuck some level 4 and level 2 in there. Again, just to see what the magic does.
Did you go with the new magic?
Purple Sun.
Yep.
Yeah, went with the dark magic just to try... the death magic, just to try what it does. And that was my initial, just give it a go. My second game, I actually used my 7th edition ETC army. And that was sort of on an instruction from Jervis Johnson, of all people.
Yeah.
We was talking to him about it, and he says, just use your normal list. Don't even worry about whether it fits in the rules. Just use, you could have, 3 red.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you've got 55% characters.
That's it.
Just play
doesn't
it.
Doesn't matter what your percentage are.
Learn the rules.
Learn the rules. So we did that, and I soon found out that the thin purple line of crossbowmen, dark riders, and shades soon struggled when there's 12,000 slaves coming across the border at a rate of knots. To be fair, I was caught out by some of the rules in that one, I think. And
you got caught with the scouts, didn't you?
Yeah, I put both my scout units together. Then Adam seized the initiative off me and got the first turn when I was expecting it myself. And then his climate block came on. I couldn't get him out, my scouts out of the way. He charged one unit, did a reform after he ran me down, and charged a second unit the next turn because I couldn't get out of the way. So, but I was prepared for him for the next one. So after that, I thought, well, what's going to be really broken in the new edition? And I thought, you know what, we'll get a big cavalry unit in there. We're trying to abuse the fact that the BSB lets you reroll your stupidity on the Cold Run Knights. So you've got Weapon Skill 5, Initiative 6, Cold Run Knights, Strength 6 on the charge. You need them getting into combat, and now the war machines are so rampant, supposedly. You can't hide from the shooting, supposedly. And the magic's got the ability to just wreck units. You need a lot of them to make sure that the 7 or 8 knights, which will wreck a unit, does actually get there. So we went for 18 Cold Run Knights, a Dreadlord with the Hydra Blade and the Potion of Strength. And I think there's better items in the rulebook, but I didn't have access to the rulebook while I was writing my list. So, Hydra Blade, Potion of Strength, and the Pendant. And then a BSB in there with a Hydra Banner, which then kicks out 2 attacks each from all the riders, an extra attack for each rider from the man behind him, so that's 3 attacks each, and then the Cauldron of Blood powering him up as well. So each rider essentially got 4 attacks each.
Did you not put a picture of the dice you were about to roll on Twitter?
Something like 50 or 60 dice for the Cold One Knights going into one warrior as a Chaos unit, including the cold ones. And my theory behind that was you hit someone so hard in the face that with your hatred and you're wounded on 2s against most infantry, you kill enough men so that they're not going to be steadfast. You're just going to take the ranks off them.
Yeah.
Especially with me having one rank, there's not often people are going to be... If someone's running 10 wide, I'm going in, I'm killing 20 men, maybe more, if they're just clan rats or something like that. I don't think they're going to be running 3 or 4 5 ranks. I should be able to reduce them to 2 or 3, kill them in 2 rounds of combat, because second round I'm still striking first reduce of 6.
And especially against things like clan rats, strength 4, aren't you? So
yeah. As it was, I played Warriors of Chaos with that, and I went through a big monstrous infantry regiment. I went through a chosen regiment with a Chaos Lord in there.
Thrug, wasn't it?
Yeah, Thrug. Yeah. So yeah, that's really good. But then I think once people get the hang of the redirect rules, I'm gonna struggle with that, and having a lot of points in one unit. I mean, the unit itself was I think 20 knights, 270, about 600 points including command group. So you can get it into most sort of 2,000 point armies because you can have up to 1,000 in your special.
Yeah.
But again, that's what I thought. I thought, well, we'll see how good a hard hitting hammer Cold One cavalry unit, because Cold One cavalry's always been one of the best cavalries in the game. The only thing that's let it down has been the stupidity.
Stupidity doesn't help.
And now it's so reasonably priced that you can get that many. And a lot of people are saying the cavalry's just nerfed in the new book, and I can't see it because they're quite fast. You can get Magic Banner, which will give them movement 8 instead of 7. So they're moving 16 inches in the first turn. No one's getting out of the way of that, you know what I mean?
I think it's far too early to say anything's been nerfed.
No, I don't think anything's been nerfed. You know what I mean? It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. See what the FAQs are going to say next week or so when they come out. And we'll just take it from there.
That's going to be really interesting.
So once you've played a couple of games, what are your thoughts now for writing the next time you write a list? Let's say we had a tournament at the weekend. What would you take?
I'm not really sure.
No?
No. Again, because I only played 2-3 games, still not sure on what's going to work best. You're looking at me going, it's true.
You don't much hope for a podcast discussion about writing a list.
I'm
so
not.
Come on, off the top of your head, have a quick think. What would you go for?
I'd go with a level 4.
Yep.
To start with.
Just because you want to use Illumine magic, or because you think that's the way to go?
Because some of the magic's horrid.
Yes.
And it can delete units in one go.
Yeah.
I also thought putting it on a Pegasus rather than in a unit.
So you can keep away from...
So you can keep the nasty miscasts away.
Yeah, I get that.
And again, need to try a few more games to see what that does for...
Line of sight and being shot at,
line
things
of sight
like that.
being shot at, yeah. It's not as easy as it was.
Okay, so...
keep it hidden.
One of the things I'm discovering is the synergies between your magic and your magic users, because magic is going to be a huge part of the game. There's no denying that. I've noticed that I'm taking death magic a lot because it's really fun and it's brutal and it blows things up. You melt the brains of your characters and you blow monsters to pieces. However, when you play a big Skaven army with all the characters at the back of the board behind units, and all you can see is slaves and clan rats, there's not a lot to Spirit Leech. There's not a lot you can do. And the Purple Sun doesn't do a lot because they're all high initiative. It's a difficult one. So I'm finding that you do need a second wizard if you want to have a good strong magic phase. You do need a second wizard to probably with your death magic. So that'd be your character sniping one. And then your main level 4 can go for something that wrecks units, like fire or dark magic, which is also quite tasty in this. I played a game against Greg last night, and my dark wizard cast... She was using... it was my level 4. Because I'd rolled all the spells on death, which were quite low casting value, and he had all his characters left, I was in the middle of the board on my own with the pendant, and I cast all 4 of my spells and the Power of Darkness.
Oh, Jesus.
And he only stopped the last one. If he hadn't stopped the last one, they'd have all gone off. The wizard had cast 5 spells at him, and it went mental. It was really good. So the synergies between the magic's huge. I think I'm going to use magic for quite some time. I can't see myself not using it because it's such a fun part of the game as well. Like one of the things I've come up with is my level 2 with Spirit Leech on a horse, and when the time arises and you know you need to go and kill the character, run forward on the horse so it's in range, and Spirit Leech on all 6 dice, or that Fate of Buna, is it, on all 6 dice, go for your double 6 to get the spell through, and you get the assassination off on the character, and then your level 2 takes whatever blast it needs to, and then lives with it, or not, as the case may be.
And gets killed next turn.
And then that leaves your level 4 as a defence as well. Plus 4 to dispel is quite huge.
Yeah. It is, especially if you're playing, if they've not got level 4.
Yeah, that's...
Because you're essentially starting on 2, aren't you?
Yeah.
One thing I did use, which I really enjoyed, was the Hellstrom.
Oh, yeah, because you never used that in the old edition.
No, I never used it in the old. I used the Hellblaster a few times, but never used the Hellstrom because it was just so, inaccurate, basically.
Yeah, now it takes one of the things out of the equation, doesn't it?
Just being able to put it down and then...
It moves forward, then
scatters. Enjoyed using that.
Yeah, I imagine. When it hits hard.
When it hits, it landed on a unit of Chaos Warriors. And
can you put an engineer in that?
I'm not sure.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
It would, actually.
Yeah.
No, because it doesn't fire like a stone thrower, so it wouldn't.
Oh, right, okay.
It shoots like a cannon, because it's got its own rules in the Empire book.
Yeah, got you.
Rather than stone thrower rules.
Okay, one of the other things I've been doing is I've been running 2 Hydras a lot.
Thunderstomp,
because I enjoy it. It is pretty brutal. I get to shout Thunderstomp when they're going for it. And also, I want to know if they work, because obviously the whole infantry is going to be ruling the game, the monsters are getting a raw deal and all that. See if it is actually true, or see if the monsters are still rampant. I found they can soon die quickly, because even if you go into the front of a unit and smash it to pieces, they're getting a lot of attacks back.
Yeah.
A lot of high strength, high initiative attacks. They're going first as well. So second round of combat, you're in a lot of trouble. However, we've been able to take a leadership test and just march on with your handlers taking the wounds instead of a Hydra. They are survivable. So yeah, I'm playing them a lot just to see what's going on.
How do you find though when they get into combat and even against the not high strength stuff? Because obviously most things are going to fight back, or even like say strike first. Do you think that's going to affect it?
Yeah, I think they can go down pretty quick. But I think you need to be looking to combine them with a big ranked unit. You know what I mean? If the key is going to be taking the steadfast away from the unit you're fighting, and the Hydra is going to go there to do the wounds to win the combat. And you need a ranked unit to take away the steadfast ability of the other unit you're attacking. So I don't know. I mean, with regards to other armies, like I don't know, just one that jumps out at me is lizard men, because obviously I played Bobo with his. I speak to Dan Heelan a lot about his lizards. It seems like I'd like to be doing one of them, because they do everything. You know what I mean? The magic, the shoot, and now they're going to have some awfully good combat units in them Croxigors.
Yes. Well, again, going back to magic, I think the Slann is now the man, isn't it, for magic?
Yeah, I mean, it should be, but yeah.
Well, yeah, oh no, absolutely it should be. I mean, it can just ride over the miscasts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Apart from the...
Don't put him in the Temple Guard.
Oh, God, don't, no. Well, you say that, but is it not better now than it was?
No, because a lot of the time you're getting either a big template or you're getting a strength hit on everyone in base.
Oh, is it?
Whereas before it was only 2 that did that. There was double 1 and there was 6. No, double 1 and...
I thought there's a strength 6 and a strength 8, isn't there? And then strength 10 when you died. What I'm thinking is...
Strength 8 don't hit base to base. Strength 8's on yourself. Strength 6 is on your friendlies.
Right.
And then strength 10 when you died. So yeah, I think the Slann's going to be good. I think anything that does everything in all phases, again, try out something that performs in every phase, so you can see what the game does in every phase. I'd certainly be trying to use the units you've not used before to give them a go. I mean, I don't know. So it's really hard to know. I mean, do you go with the Horde rules?
There's been a few discussions about that on the Warhammer forum, hasn't there?
Yeah,
saying that it's this overrated thing, which I don't know.
Some units are sort of made for it, aren't they? The giant rats, I think, are particularly good for it.
Purely because you can get 50 of them for no points.
Yeah.
But again,
I don't think you're going to be seeing 50 high elf swordmasters, are you, at 15 points apart?
Oh, I'd be nice, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Again, if you're not fighting another horde, what does it really
You're
achieve?
losing attacks, aren't you?
You might as well just be 7 8 wide instead.
Yeah. And deeper, and stubborn for longer.
Yeah. Don't know. I wonder why it was 10. I wonder why they got 10 from.
Probably because it looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you think you would field a horde going into it, looking at with your Empire, looking at the points, what a horde of Empire would cost, and without knowing how good it's going to be or how bad it's going to be, would you be thinking, I'm going to try that at a tournament? Let's say, like I said, we're going to tournament of the weekend. You've got the book. You can write what you want. You take what you want. Is it something you'd include?
No.
No. Okay. Why not?
Too many points. I think, like you say, I think it's made for cheaper armies. I mean, what are swordsmen? 6 points each, 7 points each.
I'm not sure.
I think you're probably better off with them a bit deeper.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, especially I think certainly as well things like spearmen, because they're still fighting in 3 ranks. I'm not sure what the extras really add.
No.
Over the ability to be stubborn for longer. And again, they are cheap infantry. Don't get me wrong. They're not 15-point swordsmasters like you say, but they're not 2-point giant rats.
No, of course not.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, one of the theories I've been using with building the list is still a lot of the same principles of the old edition of thinking that people are going to bring the ranked units, and how do I get the points out of them without giving the points away? And again, the best way is shooting and magic, strangely enough.
Yeah, but
so I'm picking units that can avoid the big units and they can dance around them, and then they can hit them hard in the flanks if they need to.
Yeah.
And you don't need to wipe them out so much straight away. You can hold them there because they're stubborn. As long as you keep winning combat, they're not going to go anywhere. And then you can bring your Hydra in later to win the combat bar to smash the ranks off, take the ranks off, and make them not stubborn anymore, and then run them down, get the points, get the banner. Yeah,
because you need the whole units, don't you? You can't just get half.
Whereas shooting them from far, it's not quite so good anymore. So one of the things I've been including is a Cauldron of Blood on my list.
I think if you try and shoot them from afar, I think you could struggle to get any points.
Yeah, because once they get down to half, they'll just
bug out.
Yeah.
You tried the dragon yet?
Yes, I tried it against Adam, and it got shot to pieces because I couldn't hide it anywhere. Warp lightning cannon just shooting at it every turn with nothing I can do about it. So that's. Well, think of it now, right? You come and deploy against the dragon. What does it do?
Yeah,
goes behind terrain.
Yeah.
So if you've got 2 cannons and a steam tank with cannon on, dragon's not behind terrain. What happens?
You shoot it.
It dies straight away, doesn't it? So is that going to be a deterrent for people bringing the dragons?
I wonder if... I would think it would be, combined with them not being as good as they were.
Yeah.
And especially the fact as well that if you have a dragon... If you're playing 2,000 points, you have a dragon, you're not having many more characters, are you?
No, of course you're not.
Or if you are, you're having no men.
No. Yeah, it's really interesting. And to be honest, I know we've said we're going to discuss about the merits of what you should be putting in a list, but I think it's more of a quick chat between ourselves for people listening on of what we're thinking of, because it's really, really difficult one.
I'm struggling, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, anything else you can think to add to this before we close the show?
Nope.
No? Okay, so if anyone's having ideas of how to go about writing a list, because it is difficult with a new edition coming, and think we was a bit lame in our discussion, post up on the forums, stick your head in, put posts up, let us know what you think. We're going to have another short break, and then we're going to come back and close the show. Are you an event organiser? Or do you run a gaming club? Or do you just want to shout at your mates on the podcast? Head on over to baddice.co.uk and go to the Sponsor Us section of the website. Click the donate button, and for just £5 you can dedicate an episode to whatever you like. Sponsoring an episode helps us make the podcast better for you guys, so what are you waiting for? Get yourself over to baddice.co.uk and sponsor an episode today. Okay, so that's another show in the bag. We've done a bit with our 8th edition, how to sort of struggle to write an army list, because it is a struggle at the moment. Bit of a terrain discussion for you. We're going to do some more terrain stuff in the future, because it's going to be a massive part of 8th edition, so we're going to try and cover that quite a bit. I've got a few ideas of some people we can get in as well to talk about that sort of thing. And Yeah, so keep us posted on what your thoughts are on the forums. It's baddice.co.uk/forum. You can buy some dice. So what do you think to the dice anyway? How did it perform for you at the weekend?
They performed really well, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. A lot better than the England dice.
Yeah, because we had some England dice made at the same time, didn't we, for the ETC team?
They weren't so hot.
No, and we give Guns a set of the bad dice ones as well, and he said they were awesome. In fact, they were a bit rude at times, he said. So, yeah, get them. It's your symbols on your sixes, not your ones. So you want to be rolling, seeing them symbols, two fireballs on top of the dice to show the irresistible force of the cataclysmic magic phase.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, they're all good. Only a £5 if you're a Snake Eyes member, $6.50 if you just get to the forums, and they'll be going up by a couple of quid when they go on the main website in a few weeks. It's basically giving you a bit of an incentive to get on the forums and come and say hello to us. Some other things before we get off. Snake Eyes. We're putting loads of content up in the actual bonus section of the forums, basically to make up for the fact that the forums are now free. We've got a bit more effort into putting bonus content up. So in recent times, we've had a chat with Charles Black. We've got him on there talking about how to become a better Warhammer general. We've got a chat with Trent Dennison going up there soon, talking about his just thoughts on the 8th edition and the ETC before he'd had a chance to look at the book. I think this was he just had a quick glance over it and just what he thought from the rumours and that. So that's quite interesting. We've had a summer incursion episode up there. So yeah, plenty of stuff all going up, and there's going to be plenty more coming soon. Like you say, we're going to have a chat about the Six Nations, do a proper in-depth episode just for the Snake Eyes members. So get yourself on there. It's only £10 for a year, and if you get your dice at the same time, it's £14 for a set of dice and your Snake Eyes membership.
It's like a bargain and everything.
Yeah, it is a bargain. Okay, so what else have we got, Ben? Facebook and Twitter, haven't we, I suppose? Yeah, follow our comings and goings on there. I've just posted a load of photos on the Bad Dice Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Bad Dice. And it's all the pictures from Tempest Rising and from the Six Nations events. There's a load gone up, about 100, probably more than that actually, about 150 photos gone up this week. So get yourself on there, have a look at them. Some pretty good ones. Twitter, yeah, it's all the same sort of stuff on Twitter. Just when we're at an event, we use Twitter to keep updated of round-to-round scores, things like that, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Okay, so we've got a competition to announce the winner of. So, and we've got a short clip for that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you the clip now, and you can have a listen to Ronnie Renton from Mantic Games announcing the Snake Eyes competition.
Hi, this is Ronnie from Mantic Games. 2 short messages. The first is that the dwarfs are now being released, so get along to our website and see the fantastic miniatures that are now available to build huge armies with. Secondly, the competition we recently ran with Bad Dice. We picked a competition winner. His name is Sam Mauger. He's going to win £50 worth of product chosen by him from Mantic's site. Well done, Sam, and I look forward to speaking on the podcast again soon. Cheers. Bye.
Okay, so that was Ronnie, and congrats to Sam. So, Sam, you should have emailed us before with your entry. So, if you send us an email with from the same email address, we can hook you up with Ronnie to get you your product of whatever it'll be. And if I was you, I'd have the dwarfs because they are looking kind of awesome.
I'm going to say that's 100 dwarfs.
Yes, it's 100 dwarfs.
You can't grumble at that, can you?
No, not at all. So. Yeah, thanks to Ronnie for that. Now, other competitions that we've got, we have the Odd Games one, which is you have to write a battle report, any edition. An 8th edition one would be a good one, and you can post it on the Bad Dice forums or the Bad Dice Snake Eyes forums or the Odd Games forums, and just post it up, your battle report, you get entered into the draw, which will be the draw over the Warhammer launch weekend. And pretty simple, really. Not too much involved there. What did you win, Ben?
You win a copy of the 8th edition rulebook.
Yeah, that's it. I was seeing if you were paying attention then. Yeah.
Only just.
You looked horrified when I said Ben. It was like, what? So I just said my name. Okay, so, and the third competition is Unseen Lurker one to win the latest copy of Unseen Lurker magazine. We're going to run that for 1 more week. So if you want to join the Snake Eyes section over the next week, you get added to that competition. Basically, everyone who signs up for that's the paid section of the Snake Eyes bit. Everyone who signs up for that gets added into a hat. We're going to draw that on the next episode, and you win a copy of the magazine. It's pretty simple, really. I think that's about it. We're going to shut the show. Just one more thing before we dash off is we've got a voicemail number, so if anyone wants to ring in, just let us know your thoughts and just have a chat with us. Leave a message. It's 0115 714 3423. I'll just repeat that so you can scramble and get your pen and write it down.
Click it into your iPhone.
0115 714 3423. And you can just give us a call, leave us a message, and you never know, you might find yourself read out on the show, and we'll have a chat about whatever you've rang us to discuss.
That could get messy.
Oh yeah, of course it could. I hope it kind of does. Ring it. Put that on your phone and ring it when you're drunk at tournaments.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing we're looking for. So I think, Ben, that's it. What about you?
No, I got nothing more.
Okay, good stuff. Well, we'll see you next week, and it will be next week, because over the next couple of months, in the run-up to the ETC, and with the launch of 8th edition, we're going to be banging the shows out every week. I don't know if this is going to be permanent format or not. We're certainly going to be having a break in August for 2 weeks while we're away in Germany.
Yeah.
Other than that, we'll see how we go once we get back. But the next few weeks, we've got a lot of content to cover, so it's weekly shows for the next 5 or 6. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.